Top 10 Extreme Presence. Top 10 Horrifying Creatures and Things Found and Lives in Human Body. 10 A botfly larvae in the eye. If you've ever been to a picnic or spent a little time outside during a hot day, you've likely gotten a bug in your eye. In most cases, after you squint or wink a few times, your eyes will produce tears and flush the pesky little bug out of your eye. However, a 5-year-old boy in Honduras got way more than the usual bug in the eye when a botfly got into his eye. Not only did the insect lodge there, but the insect, which is a parasite, laid eggs. The larvae had to be removed via surgery. 9 Squid spermatophores in the mouth. A 63-year-old woman in South Korea visited a local restaurant and ordered squid. She ate the squid, which was only partially cooked, and then got the sensation that something was spreading in her mouth. The feeling didn't go away for a few days, so she decided to go see a doctor. The doctor found spermatophores in the woman's mouth. These organisms were small, white and shaped like spindles. It seems that the half-cooked squid was not completely dead, and actually ended up reproducing after the woman ate the squid. It wouldn't be a surprise if she didn't want to eat seafood for a while after that. 8 Maggots in the ear. There once was a woman who had 57 maggots in her ear. She was 92 years old when the maggots were found. The doctors who were treating the woman believed that a fly found its way into her ear and laid eggs. This looks and sounds like a real-life nightmare. To make matters worse, the maggots were apparently in the woman's ear for a few days before they were discovered. Maybe the woman didn't feel the fly crawling into her ear. Maybe she did feel it, but couldn't get it out in time. Either way, the situation is pretty scary, and one that no one, regardless of age, would want to experience. 7 Pea plant in the lungs. A guy named Ronan Zvedin from Massachusetts couldn't seem to get rid of a cough. He thought that he may have a tumor, and went to the doctor to get checked. Once he reached the hospital, the medical staff was astonished to find that there was actually a small pea plant lodged inside Zvedin's lungs. Lab tests and x-rays confirmed this. Could it be that Ronan ate a germinated pea for dinner one night, and it found its way to his lungs? It's pretty fascinating that an entire small plant was able to thrive inside of his lungs. Very weird and scary, but fascinating nonetheless. 6 Dandelion in the ear. A little girl in Beijing became host to an entirely developed dandelion growing inside her ear. Apparently, the ear is a prime location for plants and small animals to grow. It's warm, it's dark, and things can thrive in the cavity of the ear without being disturbed. Perhaps the dandelion seed found its way into the little girl's ear when she was outside playing. Maybe pollen residue got into her ear while she was outside for just a few minutes, walking to school or riding in the car with the window down. Thankfully, the dandelion was removed, and doctors likely told the little girl's parents to see that she didn't stick any foreign objects in her ear. 5 Fish in the bladder. A very small fish, about 0.8 inches long, got into an Indian boy's penis somehow when he was cleaning the tank where the fish was previously living. Medical professors J. Ironman and Vez Haventhan treated the boy's very unique condition, and wrote a paper about the experience afterward. The fish apparently made its way up the boy's urethra and into his bladder. Of course, the fish had to be surgically removed. The fact that the boy was able to survive this is truly a medical miracle. Perhaps the fish was comfortable getting into the little boy's body because the human body is made of mostly water. Or, maybe it was just something really weird that happened. 4 Eels in the intestines. There have been cases in which eels have mistakenly found their way into human bodies. Unfortunately, there is a case in which a man from China put an eel into his anus. Yeah, you read that right. Apparently, the man was inspired after watching a pornographic movie. The eel tried to escape, but ended up eating through the man's colon and tearing through his large intestine. The eel eventually became stuck in the man's body cavity, since he had nowhere else to go. Medical professionals were finally able to remove the animal from the man's body. However, he did suffer from some pretty serious internal bleeding. 3 Tapeworms in the intestines. Some people think that tapeworms are a myth, but there's proof that they're real. These parasites are often found in the intestines of humans. They can live there for a quarter of a century. In most cases, the tapeworms that are found in human intestines are a few meters long. However, the longest tapeworm ever found inside of a human was 25 meters, 82 feet, long. Of course, tapeworms will grow if they are not removed as quickly as possible, and they feed off the food that makes its way to the intestines. This explains why people with tapeworms are excessively hungry. 2 worms in the eye. Worms can apparently find their way into the human body pretty easily. These creepy crawlies have been known to get into the brain, but they've also lodged into the human eye. In 2010, a man named John Matthews from Iowa was having blurry vision, and kept seeing dark spots. He didn't know what was wrong, so he went to see an ophthalmologist. Matthews was then told that he had a parasitic worm in his eye. As if this wasn't frightening enough, the worm was starting to eat his retina. The way that worms can live and thrive in humans is still a mystery, but it's safe to say that all Matthews wanted to do was find a way to have the creature removed promptly. 1. Moths and ticks in the ear. Moths are those creepy-looking creatures that can get into your clothes when you leave them in the attic for too long. An anonymous man in the United States had the scary experience of having both a tick and a moth inside of his ear. Both of the creatures were alive. His friends were able to get both of the insects out with a pair of tweezers, so luckily, he didn't have to go to the doctor. This may have been a case of spending prolonged amounts of time outdoors. Or, maybe, he should have made sure his attic wasn't humid enough for moths to be comfortable there. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe our channel for amazing top 10 listed videos.